just to be honest, because I feel like this is something that other creators jumping into YouTube might need to hear. When I started the channel, it was like, I think it felt like the most genuine it's ever been, because I hadn't had much attention beforehand. So when providing this content to people, it was like, wow, there's a person that likes it. This person, yay, this is amazing. I'm grateful for this person.
Yeah.
Then as things started to grow, and as I said, because like you're surrounded by people, some that are going faster, some are going slower, some are your age, some are younger, some are older, and you're always trying to find your place. All that starts cluttering the mind. So while I'm still trying to make stuff, I forget about the individual, and it becomes a lot more taxing mentally. And then it reached a point where it was the hardest to deal with in the middle of 2019. I think this was just during or after like the 2.8 boom, where like everyone exploded, like CG, Ducky. I was at about 50% the rate of growth that they were at that point, and like it was going up, and you're focusing on putting stuff out, and you know that in the back of your mind there's like there's the Curtis that was there day one, who was really happy for like the individual he was giving stuff to, and now there's the Curtis that's just trying to keep everything afloat. So there's always this balance of like, okay, who am I and who is this channel, stuff like that, and trying to return to it. And I've gotten back to a really good place now. Like it feels better now than it did like throughout nearly all of last year. But I think people really need to be aware of that, especially the newcomers who want to get into it. You can be pure of heart, but YouTube will change you.
That's a good point. There was a time where I wasn't so cold. I would leave paragraph long responses to everything. And now let me be honest. Now you can determine how well a video does kind of by its like initial velocity, how many views it gets within the first hour. And let me tell you, my numbers I'm looking for are ridiculous. I'm looking for like stadiums of people. But these aren't people anymore, right? Like other than the dude I'm gonna go play hacky sack with, none of them actually exist. And it's gotten a bit weird like that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like YouTube is a limited platform because it sort of dehumanizes the interaction process a bit, because when you see people putting comments and likes and stuff, you're not seeing the person, you're seeing data being represented on your screen, and that's a problem, I think. And it also doesn't help when like a lot of the comments are the same a lot of the time. Wow, nice video, thanks for sharing this. You're not hearing the voices or the inflections, accents, you're not seeing faces. They might as well be the same person in your mind, and this person is called the YouTube comment section.
I'm telling you, the most important feature of YouTube, which is no longer a feature, is video responses. Those are gone. Which is the idea. That's why I do the video responses to your stuff, Curtis.
Yeah.
I think I'm a couple behind,
you're
but that's
behind.
why. That's the most important feature, but it's gone.
No, I really like them. Yeah.
Josh, to go back to your question, I read somewhere that we will always be in service to someone or something for our satisfaction. So for me, like, I totally agree with you. Like 1,000 subscribers sounded like the thing that I would be like set for life, satisfaction, like fulfilled. And then now, the next thing is 10,000. But even when I reject that, I find that other things in my life take that place of being the thing that I'm leaning on for my satisfaction, whether that's something I'm doing, or for some people that's money or their spouse or themselves. So I think it's just a matter of like, what do you want to make that thing? Because I think there's always going to be something, but maybe people disagree with that.
Yeah, we're so complex, and happiness really, like we tend to attract, we attach happiness to certain events or certain things or certain goals that we have, and then when we reach those goals and we're like happy for 5 minutes, we're like, I got there, this is great, and then it's always what next, and there's ancient philosophy. It exists in Buddhism and a number of different different things, and it's not a religious thing. It's just kind of a way of thinking. It's a philosophy that happiness doesn't exist when you're either seeking something or trying to avert something. So you have attachment and aversions, and those are constantly pulling you at opposite ends of the spectrum. And they pull your happiness, because you can be happy when you're constantly. I mean, you can be happy seeking something, but that's the journey. But and then if you're trying to aversion, you're you're trying to stay away from something, well, that's causing suffering too. So you're not going to be happy there. And if you're constantly chasing something else, saying I need my I'm going to only be happy if that I can get that girl to date me, or if I can get $1 million, or I can get 100,000 subscribers, or this and that. And then you reach it, and it's like it's hollow, and you're like, well, what next? So as long as you're seeking or you're averting, you can't be true happiness. But then there's that part of human psychology where you're always striving for something, right? Because if you don't have goals, you're stagnant, and that stagnation is a trap too, right?
Yeah.
So it's a multifaceted balancing act, and YouTube definitely doesn't seem to help with that unless you look at it the right way, which I haven't figured out yet. CG probably.
Two things about the Buddhism. Well, first thing about the Buddhism, they say the only things you're entitled to are suffering and death. So, that sucks.
Yeah.
But the second thing about Buddhism is, what is it? Even if you find something that you feel like is pretty good, like, oh, yes, I feel fulfilled by my wife. These things are all impermanent. Your wife's going to die. And it's very hard to, the only way you can find fulfillment out of something that's not impermanent is, actually, I don't know if there is one, but it's to kind of detach from everything, which kind of sounds, psychopathic.
Yeah.
But that's what they say you're supposed to do.
I love how deadpan that delivery is. Your wife's gonna die.
I know. Then you're psycho.